Welcome back to the channel. I'm the Ghost of Vape. Before I go any further, I just need to ask you a favor. If you could like this video, I would appreciate very much. I am sort of changing content around, changing my videos. And I'm still going to do Call of Duty from now and then, time to time, when it actually is relevant, not 8-9 months after launch when no one gives a fuck anymore about it. So if you like this video, it would help me get, broader exposure and to help this channel grow, and I would appreciate it. Now I'm going down the red pill. I'm going down the conspiracy theory rabbit hole, and I am on the flat Earth. And this video is going to basically throw the gauntlet down for flat Earth, whether for or against, whether you think we're on a globe or on a flat Earth. This video, this man, which a lot of people don't know about because he's disappeared off the internet. There's a lot of rumors as to why that happened. But this video here, which is about 20 minutes long, don't worry, not going to watch it. There's about 2 minutes here, 3 minutes of it that's actually worthwhile watching. And it is, like I said, the gauntlet for flat Earth or pro or cons. And if we did this test, you do this experiment, if someone were to follow through on this, what he's talking about, he's an engineer, he works universities, but Brian Mullins is his name. Have I mentioned that? If I haven't, his name's Brian Mullins. Boom. And he is an engineer, and this is his test, and this is his experiment that'll prove either way if the Earth is flat. No one has done it, strangely enough. Is flat Earth a psyops? I have touched on flat Earth before, and I just want to say this. Before we watch the ultimate flat Earth experiment, I would like to say something to you about flat Earth. And I've said this before, and this is how it is. Whether the Earth is flat or not, I don't think is the crux of the problem. Why flat Earth is such a threat, apparently, to the scientific establishment isn't whether the Earth is flat or not. I mean, that is obviously one of the problems or one of the questions or one of the conspiracy theories. But this is what the flat Earth has done. Flat Earthers and scientists like this guy and actual engineers, what they have done is thrown a monkey wrench into the religion, because that's what it is, the religion of science, the dogmatic world of university professors and scientists. Because what flat earthers have done is shown the fallibility of mathematics, because there are very many credible scientists and intellectuals and teachers and professors who, through math that proves the Earth isn't flat, that gravity exists, etc., physics, they have proven with the same math that the Earth is in fact flat and gravity doesn't exist, because no one can actually know what gravity is. The going conspiracy theory that gravity is actually buoyancy. But I just want to point that out. And the scientific community, though, has put hit pieces on anybody who tries to question their dogma of mathematics and science. They went as far as to create the Flat Earth Society, which is a paid opposition to mainstream science, but it is a controlled opposition filled with fruitcakes and nutcases. They found the most wacky, dumb, moronic type people who don't know what they're talking about to make flat earthers look stupid and to discredit flat earthers, and have anybody who's looking into it watch this documentary, which was on Netflix. I would like to point that out. It was on Netflix, and the guy who was in charge, apparently, the Flat Earth Society is no one who's credible, no one who's actually serious in the Flat Earth Society, the actual flat earthers out there, and made everyone look like complete and absolute kooks. Because, like I said, it's to stop anybody who does have any questions going any further. Then they see these people who are saying they're flat earthers and represent flat earthers at the Flat Earthers Society. They make them look like absolute idiots, and people are like, okay, well, the stuff they're saying is absolutely dumb and ridiculous. Okay, I'm not even bother looking any further. So it was kind of like a paid, controlled opposition to stop anyone looking into the science behind actual flat earthers and the intelligent people who claim the Earth is flat. Or maybe they don't claim the Earth is flat. Maybe they just are doing it so they can show how fallible science is. And that really is the crux of the problem for me that I think has been created. More so the fight between, like, we're actually on Earth is flat or the moon is flat or whatever. We didn't go, the moon landing was fake, or we're inside of a sphere, or psyops. I don't know. But this dude here, Brian Mullins, engineer, came up with an experiment that would prove it unequivocally Earth is flat or Earth is round. But no one has done it, as far as I know. And that draws to some kind of questions in my mind as to what's going on. Because if you wanted to prove the Earth is flat, you do this experiment. If you want to prove the Earth is not flat, you do this experiment. Because you're going to get a result either way. And it's going to show one way or the other what's really going on.
Hi, I'm Brian Mullins, and this is Force the Line. Here's my idea. What we do is, we need 2 miles of relatively flat land, or it's easier if we use flat land. I'm thinking Oklahoma, Nebraska. Florida would work, but there's a lot of crap in the way in Florida. There's so much foliage here that we would need maybe we could do this under power lines, but who really wants to work under power lines? So here's what we do. We set posts over a 2-mile stretch of land. What I've got here are my posts. Okay, 10 feet on center. Here's your first post, second post at 10 feet, third post at 20 feet, all the way down to 2 miles, 2 miles away. Here's your last post at 10,560 feet, or 2 miles, and your second to last post at 10,550 feet. Okay? Got my break line in here to show that the distance between these two posts is 10,530 feet. You see what I've drawn here, okay? Now the idea is everything is based off the first two posts. Okay? What we do, we set the posts in a straight line. Very easy to do. Contractors can definitely do this. And then between the very first two posts, we construct a beam between the two and level that beam. Okay? We level this beam, okay? Make it level. This is typically how beams are constructed. You always level them out unless there's a roof slope or something. But for a floor beam or something, you would always level it. Anyway, so this point right here is this point on the Earth if we live on a convex sphere. Okay?
Got it.
Meaning that when this beam is leveled, there is an imaginary line perpendicular to the center of gravity of the Earth, extending this to the center of the Earth. And then we do the same thing all the way to the end. We level each one of these beams all the way for 2 miles. Okay? So, every time you level one of these beams, it should be extending, it should be perpendicular to a line extending to the center of the gravity of the Earth. So over 2 miles, those beams will actually follow the curve. They have to. If a level works, the only way it can really work is on a sphere is if it works with the center of gravity. Okay? Then, what we do is we use a rectilineator type device below it to force the line. This very first beam we construct right here is perfectly parallel, or as close as we can get to perfectly parallel to this beam. It's leveled too. We level that beam, okay? But then for all of the rest of the beams on the forced line, as I'm calling it, we use a connection here that forces this beam, it forces a right angle connection to the first beam, okay? So, say this is our first beam that's leveled. Okay, it's leveled out. The next beam that comes in, we use precision machine work, like a CNC machine or something similar, to create a connection that forces a right angle connection to that first beam. Okay? So now, this second beam is not actually level. You wouldn't be able to tell from the naked eye, and if you put a level on it, it would probably still show that it's level because our levels are not that accurate. But it will stay in line with this beam, and we do that all the way down to the end.
So you guys are catching what he's saying, right? This one, the leveler, works with gravity, right? So it's constantly going to be staying with the curvature of the Earth. This will be the curved line if the Earth is actually round. So that'll slowly start to go down, 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 down. And this one is forced because you're using right angles, not the centered line of the leveler to make it seem like it's level. You're using actual 9-degree angles, and you're forcing it to stay straight. So if the Earth was flat, these both will run parallel with each other all the way across. If the Earth is actually round, this one will start to turn with the curvature of the Earth, while the one on the bottom would stay actually level from the starting point, as you can see here. And eventually they would meet, as he's going to say here, I assume in a few seconds.
Now, we can just use a rectilineator type device. We don't have to build these beams. We don't need 1,057 of these beams on the bottom, because they're going to be expensive to make a right angle connection like this. You see I've got 90 degrees at all 4 corners. We can just leapfrog it and just mark the columns or the posts as we go. until we get the line. Now, if the Earth is a sphere with a circumference of 25,000 miles, then over 2 miles, we should see from this point to this point a drop of roughly 32 inches. You can draw this in AutoCAD and prove it. This is what it has to be if the circumference of our world is 32 inches.
16, 32, that much.
Okay. So we go all the way down to the end. And this last post, we should have 32 inches
if the Earth is round.
Between these two lines.
That's the Brian Mullins #1 most ultimate flat Earth experiment that anyone could do, which surprisingly no one has done. So little confused on that, and that's my question, like what's going on here? If you want this guy right here,
10 feet on center,
Brian Mullins, to do the experiment right here, then very simply do it. But what happened is this is where it kind of gets interesting though, and that is this gentleman here, Brian Mullins, had a YouTube channel, and he had a bunch of experiments, a bunch of different ideas, and a bunch of things like this that he was talking about that would show the Earth is flat and show the fallibility of science. And a lot of the problems that scientists claim to know about today are in fact not true. And there's a lot of mistakes that could be, or holes that could be poked into these scientific equations, ideas, conclusions, and theories. And he, Brian Mullins, ended up being, I guess, lack of better words, chased off the internet and just disappeared and shut his whole YouTube channel down and completely just left the scene. No one's heard of him from since, and he's gone. Rumors are that they threatened him with his job, livelihood. He has a family to take care of, and he chose to take care of his family and stop questioning the authority, questioning the establishment, and he is no longer around. And I don't know what, no one knows what's happened to him. I mean, maybe he ended up getting double tapped in the back of the head, and it was ruled a suicide by Hillary Clinton. You know, I don't know. But his experiments and his questioning of the systems that are built up around us were very, very controversial. And I guess, like I said, I don't know what happened. The dude just disappeared and is no longer around. But you can see a better picture in the background there of the experiment, how as it gets going, it will start to get lower and lower, and there's the forest line that'll stay straight and true no matter of the curvature of the Earth. And like I said, eventually you would get to a point where they meet or they run parallel with each other and the Earth is flat or it isn't. And no one has done this test. I don't know why. I have no idea why no one's done this test, because flat earthers, if you really wanted to prove the Earth was flat, maybe you should do this test, get a bunch of engineers. There's so many people and engineers, people with time and money, I'm sure, that could get this worked out, could find some land somewhere that's flat and figure it out. And people who just want to shut up these people and make science look like the dogma, religion, cult that is as well, and that you can't question that authority when you're in it. As if you looked at what happened during COVID and all that, that was pretty crazy. I think that was kind of a point as well that shows how you can't step out of line or question the narrative that is being brought forth by these establishments, whether it be the massive conglomerates of pharmacies in conjunction and with cooperations of the CDCs and other government entities that are supposed to be for the people when it comes to taking care of them, as well as the universities and professors and scientists, when that came together, that no one really could question that, and it was pretty crazy. And people were, I mean, I don't need to go into that. We all know what the fuck happened. Completely nuts. So listen, I mean, anyone has doesn't question what goes on in the world nowadays when it comes to any area of expertise, where I don't care if it's from athletics to sciences to nutritions to freaking anything. I think it's healthy to have some skepticism and some questioning authority going on in people's minds. I mean, of course, you can get down rabbit holes and just, like, you know, get lost in it. But I'd like someone to do this experiment. It'd be really cool. But I said to people who don't want to do it, maybe because both sides are not that sure of it, of their actual, you know, their conviction isn't that strong, because both of them are scared to see what actually happens. I'm on the fence. I mean, listen, a conspiracy's fun. I like doing conspiracies. I like to, you know, how it's entertaining. Let me say this. I will say absolutely 110%. 110%. The flat Earth stuff, as I said at the beginning, The reason why they hate it so much is because I think it does put a monkey wrench in the dogma and the cult and the religion of science, and I think it calls into question, and it makes it not look so solid, right? I mean, look at quantum mechanics. Quantum mechanics, everything does not work on a quantum level. Science falls apart on a quantum level. They can't make sense of anything. When you actually get down to the building blocks of the world, the universe, the cells of atoms, protons, neutrons, quarks, quants, quips, all these crazy little tiny 1 million zillionths of a millimeter at the very, very building blocks of the universe in quantum mechanics, when you break it down to that, science doesn't make any sense anymore. It doesn't. The values and laws that we have at like a atomic level, at a subatomic and quantum level, they don't actually work. I'm gonna say this as far as like my perception of reality and what we deem as reality. A lot of you in the Southwest or in America will get this reference, or people who live in rural areas, but on the freeway when you're driving, and on the side of the freeway, there's always, especially in the Southwest and the West Coast, there's always these giant ass anthills, just like because of all the little rocks and stuff that they use to build freeways in the West, in America and whatnot. It seems to be the best little pieces for ants to build anthills. So when you're cruising down the freeways, you look out on the side there, you always see like these, not huge, but like pretty substantial size anthills. You'll see them on the side of the road. And the point is that those ants are 10 feet away from cars and human beings traveling at 75, 85 miles per hour in internal combustion engines on freeways of asphalt in between cities on massive freeways. Those ants don't know and don't have the capacity or the brain power or the ability to be in our reality to even know what's happening on that freeway. Right? But it's right there in front of them, but they can't see it. They don't know what, they don't have any idea. I could equate that to humans as well. We don't know any more than we know. There could be a whole other reality happening right in front of us right now, simultaneously existing with us in our reality, but we don't see it, we don't know it, because we don't lack the brain power to know, or the abilities or whatever to see that. Just like the ants don't see us driving by in cars at 100 miles an hour. They don't know it, they don't see it, and they don't realize it. And that could be us. Who knows what's going on? Maybe we are the peak of the whole universe and everything we do know is what it is. I would tend to say that's not true. I tend to say there's a whole other world reality, things going on around us. We could have aliens or some kind of different dimensions happening right in front of us a million times over, and everybody could be just, clues as to other people's existence or different realities that are taking place because we are limited by our own intelligence. And I don't know how high our intelligence or how high our capabilities are, other beings or whatever are capable of, to be able to experience the universe in different ways. Anyways, flat earth, globe earth, who knows, psyops. I don't know why no one's doing the Brian Mullins test here, but I'm the Ghost of Vade. I hope you enjoyed this video. I thank you for watching. If you liked it, make sure to subscribe as well. Like I said, hit the like button, man. I appreciate it as well. And last but not least, and most importantly, my friends, you have to do one thing, and that's stay black, question authority, and all that honky cracker rotating shapeshifters, building movies, hard spring, chemtrails, 7-Eleven, maybe it was an inside job. Just Google Tower 7th up at Bohemian Grove, worship Allah. The earth is flat. The moonlight was fake. Alex Jones is Bill Hicks. The floor just turned in the Frog's Gate. That actually came true. Do you guys know that? The atrazine in the water makes people gay. If you give it to a bunch of frogs, those frogs will turn into females. Just saying, started having, it's true. Alex Jones is right. White man, bring you down.